Hi, my name is Michelle, and here is my PowerPoint presentation for my Community Windshield Survey for Nursing 445. My objectives are, I'm going to survey two local communities. One is Point Loma with the zip code of 92106, which is my affluent upper class community. Next is the city of San Diego at zip code 92101, and this will be my underserved lower to middle class community. I will be listing stakeholders for both communities as well as interviewing the stakeholders and some community members throughout my windshield survey. Here are some general statistics for both of them, and I put them here for comparison. 92106, the population is at 19,330. Poverty level in 92106 is at 7.7, and the area square mileage is less than 1 square mile. 92101, the population there is 37,000 with the poverty level of 24.3. Larger area at 5.8 square miles. First, let's take a look at Point Loma. As you can see here, Point Loma is located directly on the ocean, north of Coronado, south of Mission Bay, right at the end of I-8 in San Diego, California. In Point Loma, it is a large military community. Over here, we have Fort Rosecrans Cemetery, along with the Navy subbase. And up here, we have MCRD, which is the training base for the Marines. As I drove through the community of Point Loma, I noticed many elementary schools, and this one here in particular, Cabrillo Elementary School, had some signs up here: go bike to school and farm to fresh, farm to school, banners to help promote health, which I thought were great. It kind of says to the community and the children of the school to start there, start learning how to exercise and eat right. Point Loma, my community assessment is that it was a very safe neighborhood, very family-oriented. The housing there is single-family homes, neighborhood style with yards, picket fences. Parks, there are many parks located throughout, very clean parks. The community is active, social, and is at a slow pace, not very hurried and not too condensed and crowded. Services there in Point Loma are, as I noted through my drive-through, where there was one firehouse. I did see an urgent care. There was a CVS for pharmacy needs. Local small family-owned food stores. I believe there was only one large grocery store chain, which was Ralph's. Otherwise, they're small family-oriented food stores. And then I said earlier it's a large military presence, and there is the Navy Medical Center there in Point Loma as well. Point Loma Nazarene College, it's the big university there right off the coast. So here, if you're standing on top of the hill on top of campus, it's overlooking the coast. I did go ahead and interview a student who had recently graduated from Point Loma Nazarene College with a nursing degree. Her name is Christy, and she has actually been a resident of Point Loma for about 20 years. She is also a Taekwondo instructor in the town right next to Point Loma, and she teaches Taekwondo to the underserved population there. And she just talks about how Point Loma, as well as Nazarene College, are all about promoting health to the community. She had stated that annually Point Loma Nazarene hosts a fall festival to the community, and that's all for free. There's many vendors there that are promoting health and help get people involved in education for health. The students, while she was in the nursing program, were able to, during that festival and many other times throughout the year, take blood pressures, do some weight, measure weights, and then do minimal diabetes education to the community for free. Christy's Taekwondo class also did presentations there during the fall festival, which helped promote health and wellness. Here I have a couple pictures of the community in Point Loma. Here's a cyclist. Through my drive-through of the community, there was many people active, groups, whether cycling, running, walking their dogs. Here's some neighborhoods, very quiet, clean, single-family homes. In the community of Point Loma, here's some stakeholders I've listed. There are 11 churches in Point Loma. It's a very big religious community with churches. It's a small area to have that many churches. There is 1 high school, 3 elementary schools, and 1 university, as mentioned prior. YMCA, which is called the Peninsula YMCA, is not directly located in Point Loma. It is right next door in the town of Loma Portal, but it does serve the Point Loma population. And then the rec center is Cabrillo Rec Center. One of the stakeholders, the YMCA, I was able to interview John. He has worked at Point Loma, Peninsula YMCA for many years, and states that he loves being able to provide smiles to kids' faces by allowing all of them to be involved in sports, no matter race, age, money, or whatever. It's actually the youth director for the youth sports. He's the director for the youth sports there in Point Loma. And the thing with the YMCAs, which is great for all communities, that it offers many health promotion classes to all age groups within the community, and the monthly fees are adjusted according to the income. As I continued to drive through Point Loma, I noticed some areas of possible health problems. Point Loma is directly located under the flight path of the airport, closely nearby. And so to me, the pollution. So along with the health problems, the Healthy People 2020 reduced the amount of toxic pollutions released in the environment. It's close to the ocean. When we have rain, the water runs down and can affect, has the runoff could have pollutions in it. So we need to make people aware not to go in the water at that time, and then possibly set up some things that will help stop that toxic pollution runoff. Airplanes produce a lot of pollution, and if we could find a way to decrease that, that would be in the same goal as the Healthy People 2020. Another one is a very large high school in this small area with lots of kids. Like I said, many elementary schools, middle schools, as well as the areas involved, and we need to have compliance with vaccinations. So we need to increase the coverage of meningococcal vaccination for the ages of 13 to 15, and we need to promote education for this and get out to the community the goals of the Healthy People 2020. Point Loma is right next to the ocean. There are a lot of people, beach goers, coming to the beach regularly. There are a lot of surfers, so we need to reduce drowning deaths, increase water safety, increase lifeguard hours, and the numbers of lifeguards to protect the public. And then the last one I added here is child obesity. It seems, or it appeared to me, that a lot of children, many age groups throughout the community of Point Loma, had iPads and cell phones, and I could see that there's a possibility or probability that they could get addicted to the video games or whatever they're doing on those electronic devices and not get out there and be active. So we need to make sure we're promoting that education to all. Okay, we're going to move into my underserved population, and I wanted to put this map up because I wanted you to see here is where Point Loma was, the town that I just spoke of. If you come here, which is this little area here, is only 4.1 miles from Point Loma to my underserved population. I just thought that was interesting just because they have so many, I mean, they have a lot of similarities, but they have many differences. And we saw that earlier in the poverty level being 7.7 in Point Loma and 23 something in a town that's only 4 miles away. That's a big difference. I took some interesting shots here. Over here, I was on top of a hill in Point Loma, and looking straight across the bay there is San Diego, my underserved population. Here, I'm in the city of San Diego looking back at Point Loma. I just thought that was interesting, again, to show that they're not that far apart. My community assessment of downtown San Diego, 92101 is the zip code. Most parts actually felt safe. It was just very busy. There's many people. Everybody's hurried. It's more of a city-style living as opposed to Point Loma. It's more housey, neighborhood-type living. Housing in downtown San Diego is more of a condo, high-rise, very few single-family homes. There are a lot of parks, or not a lot of parks in downtown. And the one park that I did see, which was very beautiful, it was overpopulated with homeless people sleeping in the park. A lot of trash out of the trash cans and just kind of dirty. The community itself, people were hurried, busy, they weren't friendly, people brushed by you and just drove around you super fast. Always in a hurry to get somewhere. I felt that's what they were doing. The services in that area, there are many homeless shelters, health clinics, there's a police station, there's the courthouse, to all help the community. Here you can see a picture of that beautiful park. There's water down here, and then there's a person sleeping here and a person sleeping here. And I didn't get a picture of the other side of the park. It was too hard through the trees, but all through the grassy area of the park, homeless people, transient people were sleeping. Here you can see the difference in the streets, all the congestion of the cars. There's a taxi. You rarely see a taxi in Oklahoma. And then just all the people out and about. There's a fitness center here in downtown. Great. Here's the San Diego American Indian Health Center. It is a community clinic that provides medical care, dental care, and behavioral health care to more than 50% of the population of the people they serve there are Native American Indians, and that's what a majority of their funding comes from. They do also take Medi-Cal and private insurance, and they do see a lot of transient homeless people that come in, and the majority of the care they provide for them is through the behavioral health part. I was able to speak to a stakeholder from here. Her name is Percy. She's the director of health promotions for the community clinic, and she says it's difficult to follow the transient population because they're here one day, gone the next day, and they don't see them again for maybe another year or so, so it's hard to evaluate the effectiveness of the care that they provide. The other half of the population that they see, and they do a lot of education for, is health promotions in the Native American Indians. As most of the health promotions is with kids ages 10 through 24. They're gearing up to start a community garden for the school-aged kids to come and learn about their native foods and how to eat healthy and how to exercise and take better care of themselves. Also downtown over here, there's Planned Parenthood. That's great, especially with the big transient population. So here's some pictures of downtown. I thought this was interesting. As in Point Loma, the majority of the homes that you see were single-family homes, and they were all beautifully landscaped and nice yards and everything. Downtown, you have an array of different types of homes. Here we have a homeless camp. That's where the transient people live. That would be the bottom of the housing habitat. Here is a semi-run-down apartment-style home. It looks like it used to be maybe a big home, and then if you go inside, they have different rooms that people can rent. There was a for rent sign out here, very low price. It wasn't that expensive, but again, it was in a dirty part of town, just right outside the street here. There were some homeless people sleeping. And if you go to the other side of the same town, still 92101, you have these really nice condos that are relatively new within the last 5 years. So you have a plethora of different types of people in the downtown area. Some stakeholders in the downtown area. I already talked a little bit about American Indian Health Center. Again, the health clinics, the majority is funded for the Native Americans, but it is open to all in need. There are many community volunteers, many local businesses, banking businesses. There's right down the street is hotel businesses. There's just one of everything downtown. There is a lot of homeless, and there's a lot of homeless shelters in the area. Here is a picture of San Diego Rescue Mission, which is like kind of smack dab in the center of 92101. And then over here is the inside of a makeshift homeless shelter that they pop up more and more downtown during the colder, wet seasons. As I drove through the downtown area and in conjunction with one of my stakeholders, the American Indian Health Center, I've listed here some health problems along with looking at the website for Healthy People 2020. The number one thing here, especially, well, for both the Native American population and the homeless population, is access to health care. They need to be able to go places to get healthy and get better. And they do have that in the American Indian Health Center, and then Planned Parenthood is down there. There's multiple other clinics. The number one health problem I could see down there, just the access to health care. Second one is there needs to be an increased compliance with flu and pneumonia vaccinations. Transient people, like my stakeholder Percy had said, it's difficult to be able to follow up with who's coming in and who's going where, but with the Native American population, we need to increase compliance with that. Flu and pneumonia for the homeless population is a must. So my suggestion is maybe hosting some free clinics to where we're able to provide the pneumonia vaccine year-round, the flu vaccine during flu season, to actually all populations in that area. Busy downtown, and so a health problem would be reduce pedestrian death, and this is in conjunction with the Healthy People 2020 goal. Although there's crosswalks and things like that, I saw many people just darting across the street, and that could be very dangerous. And then the last goal, Kids First campaign. We need to foster education of the Native American children in education and health promotion. This is in conjunction on the Healthy People 2020, but it was a little subdivision of that called the Native American Health Board that established this a few years back, and that's going to be the hot topic for my educational purposes for the rest of this class in conjunction with the Native American Health Clinic. Some pictures of some Native American children here. Actually, the health center just sponsored the Native American powwow in Balboa Park last weekend, which was a fun event to attend. So as I mentioned earlier, these two communities aren't very far apart, but as we sit down and we talk about what are their community strengths, they're very similar. You know, 92106, my affluent community has a lot of community family, community volunteers. They're clean, they're healthy, they're active. They don't have the transient populations coming in and out, so they're able to build the community bond that they need and strengths. 92101 has the many volunteers. I was actually able to speak with one of the volunteers. Her name is Linda, and she has lived in the San Diego population, actually in the zip code 92101 for about a little more than 30 years, and she's retired. She is okay with the transient population, but what she does with a group of friends 2 days a week is she goes around to the different parks and different areas around where she lives, and she picks up trash. She often volunteers at homeless shelters. Holidays, she provides meals to the homeless, and there's a big group of volunteers down there that provide that for the homeless people. There's many clinics down there. There is a police station, and those are both of the community strengths. As I sit and I reflect upon this project in my Windshield survey, I think about the American Indian Health Center, and I mentioned earlier Percy, who's the director of health promotions there, and getting in line with the Healthy People 2020 and getting the education of the children first in education for health promotions. John from the Peninsula YMCA, he's a huge advocate, and I like that. I think we kind of had the same things in mind, and he, as well as Percy, with it's really any kid. We need to put all kids first, no matter what race, age, size, money. We need to put them first, and we need to start educating them now, and that's one of our huge goals. Community members, I reflect upon those. It was absolutely interesting to meet both of them and see that in the same way, Christy and then Linda, she provides this free care to the people of her community, and she loves her community. And Christy, she teaches this Taekwondo class for the underserved people in the community right next to her. And they're just both proud of where they live, and I was absolutely happy to be a part of it and get to learn a little bit more and look at communities more in a way of what can I do to help those communities. Here are my references.